This is the All Dogs rear differential breather relocation modification. Like a 7-foot hose. Got this cheeky little filter. Oh, sticky. Zip ties. And the hose clamps. Pretty sure all you need here is a ratchet with a deep socket, 10mm, and a 14mm. 10mm. You got a screw here and a screw here for your tail light. That's where we're gonna run the new hose. And when you take off the 2 screws, you can kind of get a grip right here. Pull straight back evenly with your tail light. I've already pulled it out, but there's a little fastening pin that goes right there. So you don't want to pull it out like this, you might break that pin, so you just kind of pull directly back. And this, because of that fastener, should be okay to kind of let it hang like that. That's alright. But yeah, we're gonna run that hose probably through that hole, and then maybe use a zip tie or something around here. Put it in here. Once you get up under the truck, you can see that's the stock breather. I took mine off-roading and I went through some pretty deep stuff. It seems like it's still working. It's like a little relief valve. It's supposed to relieve the built-up pressure in your differential. It seems like everything's okay, but these have been known to not breathe properly. And if you submerge your truck and then deep enough water that this becomes submerged, supposedly according to people on forums, it's been known to let water in and turn this into a milkshake. So that's where, let's crawl under here, bring your 14mm and this new piece. We're gonna take that old piece out, thread this on, put the hose on there with a hose clamp, tighten it up, and run that hose up to where it ends in the tail light. I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna zip tie it so that it doesn't get burned by the exhaust, doesn't get pinched by the suspension. But we'll figure that out. For now, gonna work on getting this guy out. It's fairly tight. Might hear a little pff. Whatever, it finally comes out. Okay, not that loose yet. Yeah. Definitely heard a little psh. Now I'm kind of cleaning off that surface there. I like to spin, when you got tiny threads like this, I'm going to spin it backwards until I feel the threads drop. You definitely don't want to cross thread this. Seems like I definitely got it in there the correct way. It's not fighting me at all, not cross-threaded. Oh, that would explain that. It's a different size. Yeah, babe. So this aftermarket, I said it was all dogs. I guess it's Gorilla Off-Road. I don't remember which one I bought, but the new one is a 12 millimeter. I thought it would be the same 14 as the OEM, but it's not. Now, I've mislocated my torque wrench. I don't know the torque spec, but I know how it felt getting it off. I don't want to roll those threads because they're pretty small. So I'm gonna kind of grip this wrench right here. Give it a few good tugs. And that's about where it felt like the stock one was. Seemed good to me. I'm gonna need both hands to tighten that up. So there it is. You don't want this touching, obviously. I figured where they have electrical routed would be a good place to kind of mimic. So I've got the hose going up over here where there's already some electrical for the tail light. And I come up over here, and you see there's this electrical goes over there to the tail light. So I figure I'm trying to take care to not get dirt up in this hose. But probably can zip tie it there. I'm gonna go ahead and, oops, get this pulled all the way. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with how I routed everything. Went up there, zip tied to that electrical wire. I went through that loop there, over the frame. And here it comes, ran it in line with those wires, another zip tie. Nice and neat. Through that hole that the electrical runs. And you can see I used those two holes for a zip tie, and there's some other holes up there that I used. I've got my tail light sitting on this old piece of furniture because I didn't like it hanging there by the wires. Ugh. There, it came through the hole, got that zip tie, and got another zip tie through this, which you can access through the bed. I did mine a little different than how I'm seeing some of them on YouTube. I've got the filter there. A lot of people leave it right there and they don't have a hose coming out of the top of the filter. To me, that's a potential water trap. You know, water can get in there, even though it shouldn't. You know, I can see daylight through this crack here, and there's a couple areas where moisture could leak through. So what I did was make it to where if water were to somehow get in here, it would have to fight gravity to get into that hose and through the filter, and it's not going to do that. So this will ensure that I don't get any water. Might get moisture, but not direct water during rain or anything like that. So you don't want to over tighten those. I got them pretty tight, but doesn't matter which way you put the filter, by the way. But yeah, to me, I thought that was nice and neat. Still have a very high point that water can't get in. So now I'm gonna put everything back. By the way, quick note, probably common sense, but you know, you've got a tab up there, down here, and they need to go in those holes. So when you're putting your taillight back in, make sure you line up the two holes like that, and then you should be able to kind of just pop it in. A little push directly from the back. You can look along the lines, and it's back in there, and then it's just your two 10mm bolts. You know, you already took it off, so you know where to